Hi, I'm Graham Lewis, and in this video we're going to discuss some different ways of solving 1 minus 4x all over 3 equals 8, and then you can choose which one makes more sense to you. All will involve the balance approach of what you do to one side, you do to the other. So let's start off with one way of doing it, and I'm not going to tell you which one's my preferred way, because really it's what's your preferred way, and what criteria are you going to choose? Is it the safest, or is it the one where is the shortest, etc. So here's method one. I don't like the fact that it's a fraction, so I'm going to get rid of the left hand side, or divide by 3. Now I think of the 1 minus 4x just as Bob. So if I gave this a name, say I called that Bob, which I'll just do in my head, what I've really got is Bob over 3 equals 8. Or if you don't like Bob, you can think of it as a letter A. A over 3 equals 8. And of course, when you're solving a over 3 equals 8, you can multiply both sides by 3. And of course, if I do that, you get a over 3 times 3 equals 8 times 3. The 3's cancel because 3 divided by 3 is 1. And you are left with a equals 24. Well, it's the same here, but the a, or the Bob, is more complicated. It's just called 1 minus 4x. So in other words, I'm left with 1 minus 4x equals 24. Because a is 1 minus 4x, or call it Bob. So let's show how that works. So I've got 1 minus 4x over 3 equals 8. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. This is just a thing. Just think of it as one thing. Something divided by 3 times by 3 is back to the something. So 1 minus 4x divided by 3 times by 3. The 3's cancel, and you're left with the something, which is 1 minus 4x equals 24. Now, once you get down to here, there's two ways of solving this. Some of you might not mind the negative 4x, and you might keep it. So here, we're going to split into method 2. So in method 2, you could keep the minus 4x and get rid of the 1. So if you get rid of 1, you're left with, I'll show all the working for you, 1 minus 4x minus 1 equals 24 minus 1. 1 minus 1 cancels, and be careful if you're doing it this way. You're not left with a 4x, you're left with a negative 4x. And that's where people will go wrong. So if you think you're likely to go wrong, don't do it this method. And then you've got minus 4x equals 23, and we can divide both sides by negative 4. And do that all at the same time. And remembering that negative 4 divided by negative 4 cancel, leaving you with the 1x. And 4's into 23 go 4, 8, 12, 16, 25 times. And obviously that's 20. And I've got a remainder 3 quarters, and it's a negative. And I've got my final number. Another way of doing minus 4x equals 23 is you could divide both sides by 4 first. And then you'd end up with negative 4x divided by 4 equals 23 divided by 4. So the 4's cancel, but you've still got a negative x is 23 divided by 4, which is 5 3/4 as before. And to get rid of the negative, you can either multiply both sides by negative 1 or divide both sides by negative 1. I like to multiply both sides by negative 1, and negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times by a negative is a negative. And you can see that the signs have flipped, really. So that's another method as well, kind of method 2b, if you like. Going back, we could have solved 1 minus 4x over 3 equals 8 a different way. 1 minus 4x over 3 equals 8 a different way. And this way is the common denominator approach, which is proving very successful with my current grade 8s. They're really enjoying this approach. But to do that approach, you have to think of 8 as a fraction, which of course every whole number is. 8 is 8 divided by 1. Now, we've got the 8 divided by 1, and what's the common denominator of 1 and 3? I can use 3. So I've got 1 minus 4x over 3 equals, and to change the 8 over 1, we multiply by 3 over 3 to get 24 over 3, because really we're multiplying by 1. So we get 24 over 3. Now we can multiply both sides by 3, and obviously the divide by 3 and the divide by 3 cancel, and you're left with 1 minus 4x equals 24, which if you notice was the same as we got earlier here. 1 minus 4x equals 24. So then you could use one of the two methods there. So there's some different ways of solving 1 minus 4x over 3 equals 8. Now what I'd recommend is you choose which way you'd like, have a go at it, check you can get the correct answer, which is of course minus 5 3/4. So have a go at it now on your own. And remember, practice makes perfect. Or as other cultures like to say, repetition is the mother of learning. Good luck with your algebra, everyone. Hope it goes well.